Good day, everyone. Welcome to another learning episode of EL319 with a course description, resources management, and human relations and educational system. I am Mr. Marnel Imbolio, your reporter, which will tackle about merit selection plan of the Department of Education. What is a merit selection plan? When we talk about merit selection plan, it is about a systematic method of assessing and selecting employees on the basis of their relative qualifications and competence to perform the duties and responsibilities of the position. The key word there is assessing and selecting employees. Of course, when we are going to select employees, to be qualified in the government position, they should have the relative qualifications and competence so that they can perform their duties well. The plan also covers career positions in the first, second, and third levels in the Department of Education, whether teaching or non-teaching. It may also include non-career positions. When we talk about non-career positions, these are positions that are not actually having the eligibility, or actually if you're not eligible or you're not passing of the civil service, you can have the position which is a non-career position. This actually evolves, or this merit selection plan of the Department of Education based on the legal basis of DepEd Order number 29 series of 2002. So what are the objectives of this merit selection plan of the DepEd? First, establish a system that is characterized by strict observance of the principles of merit, competence, and fitness in the selection of employees for appointment to position in the career and non-career service in all levels. When we talk about non-career service, it's all about officials or their personal staff like governors. These are the example, the mayors, and the chairpersons or commissioners, or even the contractual personnel or seasonal personnel. And when we speak about career positions, these are characterized based on merit and fitness to be determined by the competitive examination. So it has an opportunity for advancement to higher positions and security of tenure. Number two is that it creates equal opportunities for employment to all who are qualified to enter government service and for career advancement in the Department of Education regardless of gender, civil status, disability, religion, ethnicity, or political affiliation. In other words, there is no segregation or there is no partition when applying in the government position. If you are qualified, as long as you are qualified, regardless of your gender or your civil status, disability, or your political affiliation, you can be qualified or you can be hired in the government service. Now let's talk about the basic policies of this merit selection plan of the Department of Education. First, shall be anchored on the principles of merit, competence, fitness, and equality. So it actually reiterated once again that the basic policy of this merit selection is, of course, anchored on the principles, of course, competence. Because how you can be in the government position if you are not competent? Of course, the fitness and equality. So there should be an equal opportunity for individuals. As long as you are qualified, then you can be part of the service, the government service. Second, it shall be open to all who are qualified regardless of gender, civil status, disability, religion, ethnicity, or political affiliation. Whatever you are, or however you are, what is your religion, your ethnicity, as long as you are competent, you are qualified, you have all the qualifications and the competence, of course, you can be actually, or you can be part of the civil service, or civil government, in the government service. Another one, number two, is that when a position in the first, second, or third level becomes vacant, applicants for appointment who are competent, qualified, and possess appropriate civil service eligibility shall be considered for permanent appointment. So who are these first, second, or third level positions? So the first level position that we're going to talk is about first level position. This actually refers to positions that includes clerical trades and crafts, and custodial services which involve sub-professional work in a non-supervisory or supervisory capacity requiring less than 4 years of collegiate studies. So one of the best example of these are of course the administrative officers or administrative assistant we have in school. Then the second level positions are actually includes um, professionals like us teachers, technical and scientific work in a non-supervisory or supervisory capacity requiring at least 4 years of college work up to division chief level. So we are one of those second level positions. Next, we have the third level position. These are actually the positions in the career executive services. So another another policy. First, the vacant positions marked for filing up or filling up shall be published in accordance with the Republic Act 7041 or publication law. So all the vacant positions should be published, okay, because it is actually under the Republic Act number 7041 or the publication law. So the published vacant positions shall be posted in at least 3 conspicuous places in the Department of Education office concerned for at least 10 calendar days. Other appropriate modes of publication shall be considered. So it can also be published in the different social media or even in the DepEd website. Next is that the following positions are exempt from the publication. So ito yung mga exempted from publication. But what are these? First is the primarily confidential positions. Then we have the positions which are policy determining. Then highly technical positions. We have coterminous positions. When we talk about coterminous, it's actually referred to those individuals whose entrance and continuity in the service is based on the trust and confidence of the appointing authority, or else there can be only a coterminous employee if actually they have if the government has a specific project or the appointing authority wants to have a coterminous employee for a certain period or a specific period. Next, we have contractual positions. Then the third level positions, which are a career executive service, and the position to be filled by existing regular employees in the department in case of reorganization. Now, another basic policy is that the Personnel Selection Board or PSB for first and second level positions shall be established. It shall be governed by the principles of fairness and impartiality in the assessment of candidates for appointment. So we have the we have the PSB or the Personnel Selection Board who will be actually selecting or who have the responsibility in selecting the different qualified positions in the government or in the Department of Education I'm talking about. Next, all candidates for appointment to first and second level positions shall be screened by the PSB. Candidates for appointment to third level positions shall be screened by the National Search Committee. Then, the PSB members, including alternate representatives for first, second, and third level positions, shall undergo orientation and workshop on the selection, promotion, process, and CEC policies on appointments. Then, the appointments to the following positions shall no longer be screened by the PSB. So there is an exclusion for these particular positions. Substitute appointment due to their short duration and emergency nature. However, should the position be filled by regular appointment, candidates for the position should be screened and passed upon by the PSB. So one of the example of this is, of course, our substitute teacher or temporary teachers. Then, appointment to entry laborer positions, appointment to personal and primarily confidential positions, and renewal of temporary appointment issued to the incumbent personnel. Next policy, for vacancies in the first and second levels, all qualified next in rank employees in the organizational unit where the vacancy exists shall be automatically considered candidates for promotion to the higher or to the next higher position. So to those qualified, to those applicants who are actually qualified in the next rank, so they can be promoted or they can be considered automatically as the next for promotion to the next higher position. PSB may employ the assistance of external or independent resource persons and may initiate innovative schemes in determining the best and most qualified candidate. So they will actually check, or they will have to do the necessary assistance, or they will actually connect to someone or to other organizations, either it is an external or independent resource persons, to have the innovative schemes so that they can determine the best and most qualified candidate. Then the appointing authority shall assess the merits of the PSB's recommendation for appointment and, in the exercise of sound discretion, select insofar as practicable from among the top 5 ranking officials or ranking applicants deemed most qualified for appointment to the vacant position. So if there is a requirement for only one position, so they can actually select the 5, okay, those top 5 ranking applicants that are actually qualified for appointment. Next, we have the appointing authority may appoint an applicant who is not next in rank but possesses superior qualification and competence and has undergone the selection process. And of course, the comparative competence and qualifications of candidates for appointment shall be determined on the basis of performance. It should have at least 3 rating periods, or at least 3 rating periods of very satisfactory before the or effective date of the appointment. Okay? Next, you have the education and training. So it should have, or this include what? Educational background, successful completion of training courses, accredited by the Civil Service Commission scholarship, training grants, etc. What else? You have experience and outstanding accomplishments. This include, of course, your experience in the service or in the position, then or in your current position. Then, of course, this include occupational history, as what I've mentioned, relevant work experience, and of course, it can be in the government or private sector, and of course your accomplishments, or your worthy of special commendations. Next, psychosocial attributes and personality traits. These are of course referred to the characteristics of traits of person that which involve both psychological and social aspects. Okay, now we have the last one is the potential. Of course, your capacity and ability, if you are really qualified to the position you're applying for. Next, an employee may be promoted or transferred to a position which is not more than 3 salary, pay, or job grades higher than the employee's present position, except, again, there is an exemption in a very meritorious cases, such as if the vacant position is next in rank as identified in the system of ranking positions, or the SRP, approved by the head of the Department of Education, or the loan or entrance position indicated in the department staffing pattern. What is SRP? This is actually a system of hierarchical arrangement of positions from highest to lowest, okay, which shall be a guide in determining which positions is next in rank, taking into consideration the following: organizational structure, salary grade allocation, classification and functional relationships of positions, and geographical locations. Next, an employee who is on local or foreign scholarship or training grant on authorized leave with pay for not more than 2 months or on detail may be considered for promotion. Again, another one, promotion within 6 months prior to compulsory retirement shall not be allowed except as otherwise provided by law. Then, a notice of announcing the appointment of an employee shall be posted for at least 15 calendar days in 3 conspicuous places in the Department of Education office concerned the day after the issuance of the appointment. Then, the approved DepEd merit selection plan shall be used as one of the bases for the expeditious approval of appointments for attestation and accreditation to take final action on appointments. What are the procedures? First, publish the vacant position in the Civil Service Commission bulletin or vacant positions or through other modes of publication. So it can be in the 3 different conspicuous places in the Department of Education offices or office concerned for at least 10 calendar days. So as I've mentioned earlier, you can also have it in the social media or on the DepEd website or Division DepEd website. Men and women shall be encouraged to apply. Then, list of candidates aspiring for the vacant position either from within or outside of the DepEd offices, including qualified next-in-rank employees. In the process, the predetermined ratio of applicants for appointment or hiring quota, among others, should be considered. So there should be a hiring quota. Once that is having or it's complete already, so it should be considered for the next process or as a ratio of applicants for appointment. Conduct preliminary evaluation of the qualification of all candidates. Very important. This initially found qualified shall undergo further assessment such as written examination, skills tests, interview, and others. Psychological tests shall be required for original candidates or appointees or as may be necessary. So those who are original candidates for appointments, or for application or for applicants, they can have the psychological test, or it depends upon the requirement from the PSB if necessary. After which, selection lineup shall be prepared and posted in 3 conspicuous places, of course, in at least 15 calendar days, and the date of posting shall be indicated in the notice. Next, notify all applicants of the outcome of the preliminary evaluation. So you have to notify and inform. Submit the selection lineup to the PSB for deliberation in bank. Make a systematic assessment of the competence and qualifications of candidates for appointment to the corresponding level positions. It should be evaluated and deliberated in bank the qualifications of those listed in the selection lineup. Then submit the list of candidates recommended for appointment from which the appointing authority shall choose the applicant to be appointed. Then the list of recommended candidates should specify the top 5 ranking candidates whose overall point scores are comparatively at par based on the comparative assessment. So you have at least, there should be a top 5 ranking candidates should be recommended, okay, for comparatively or at par based on the comparative assessment. Assess the merits of the PSB's recommendation for appointment and the exercise of sound discretion. Select insofar as practicable from among the top 5 ranking applicants deemed most qualified for appointment to the vacant position. Then issue appointment in accordance with the provisions of the DepEd merit selection plan. Then post a notice announcing the appointment for at least 15 days in 3 conspicuous places or in the different modality or different social media platform. Then the date of posting, of course, should always be indicated in the notice. Then the grievance. A qualified next-in-rank employee may present the grievance with the office grievance machinery under the following conditions. So those who are having the grievance, the next-in-rank employee can have it as long as you have these following conditions. First, non-compliance with the selection process. So as long as if you are the next in rank, then you find out that the appointed applicant is not actually in compliance with the selection process, then you can have it. Then discrimination on the account of gender. If there is discrimination that you found or you feel that there's a discrimination, then you can also file. Then disqualification of applicant to a career position for reason of lack of confidence of the appointing authority and other violations of the provisions of this merit selection plan. So the composition of the personnel selection board for first and second level positions, we have the chairman or the chairperson is of course a secretary or regional director or the schools division superintendent or his or her authorized representative or the highest official responsible for personal management. Then the division chief or the authorized career service representative of the division or unit where the vacancy is, and the human resource management officer or official or employee directly responsible for personnel management. And two representatives of the rank and file career employees, one from the first level and one from the second level, who shall both be chosen by the duly accredited employees association in the DepEd offices. One of the example of the accredited association, of course, is the ACT or the ACT. Then you have the third level positions. The chairperson is a secretary or his authorized representative. And the members, there shall be 3 career executive officers to be designated by the secretary. What are the functions and responsibilities of the HRMO? It shall have the following functions. First, disseminate copies of the DepEd merit selection plan, of course, to all agency personnel after approval of the Civil Service Commission. So there shall be an orientation to be conducted by the HRD unit within 6 months upon approval of this MSP. So of course, there should be a report on the same shall be submitted in the field office of the Civil Service. Then they have to develop a ranking position system and then submitted for approval to the appointing authority, and copy furnished, of course, the Civil Service Commission's field office. Then, identify vacant positions that may be enrolled in the brightest for the bureaucracy program. Then, develop a plan which shall set the number, knowledge, and skills of personnel needed. Then, develop and maintain an updated qualification database of employees, office of DepEd due to and of course include the education, training, experience, skills, competence, and other similar information. Then, develop a program to fast-track the career movement of employees with superior qualifications. Important rule or responsibilities: publish vacant positions as required under Republic Act 7041. Another one is that prepare a list of candidates aspiring for the vacant position either from within or outside the DepEd office within 15 days from the completion of the preliminary evaluation. Conduct preliminary evaluation of the qualification of all candidates. Notify all applicants of the outcome of the preliminary evaluation. Submit selection lineup to the PSB for deliberation in bank. The employee shall be responsible for updating the personal data sheet or the PDS annually. So it's necessary to submit supporting documents to the HRMO. Then the Personnel Selection Board for first, second, and third level shall have the following functions and responsibilities: adopt a formal screening procedure. Then reasonable and valid standard and methods for evaluating competence and qualifications. Criteria for evaluation of qualifications of applicants for appointment. Then, disseminate screening procedure and criteria for selection to all DepEd officials, employees, and interested applicants. Any modification of the procedure and criteria for selection shall likewise be properly disseminated. Prepare a systematic assessment of the competence and the qualification of candidates for appointment. Then, evaluate the deliberate in-bank the qualifications of those listed in the selection lineup. Submit the list of candidates recommended for appointment, from which the appointing authority, of course, has the right or has the power to choose the applicant to be appointed. Maintain records of the deliberations which must be made accessible to interested parties upon written request for inspection and audit by the Civil Service. Orient DepEd officials and employees pertaining to policies relative to personnel actions. Then the appointing authority shall have the following functions: establish a personnel selection board or the PSB. Members undergo orientation and workshop on the selection promotion process, civil service, and appointments. The DepEd secretary shall, as far as practicable, ensure equal opportunity for men and women, to be represented in the PSB for all levels. Assess the merits of the PSB's recommendation for appointment and the exercise of sound discretion. Select insofar as practicable from among the following: top 5 ranking applicants, the most qualified for the vacant position, applicants who have undergone deep selection and found possessed superior qualifications, and pull the brightest for the bureaucracy program. So that would be all with our topic about the merit selection plan of the Department of Education under the DepEd Order number 29 series of 2002. Thank you very much.